Welcome to the City of Wautosa Fire Department 2015 budget presentation for our 2015 budget request, presented by Jesse Coffey, a graduate student at UNO School of Public Administration. Just to highlight some of the fire department high points and information that pertain to the budget request. The department employs 99 personnel that respond out of 3 different fire stations to over approximately 47,000 residents in a 13 square mile area. The fire department provides a wide variety of emergency response services, including traditional fire suppression, specialized rescue, and a high quality emergency medical service, which is a 24/7, 365 operation, as well as an advanced life support process that is new to the department this year. In addition to these services, the department also provides education to the community, training, and leadership support to partner organizations on how to better the process of emergency services within the community and state. The fire department goals include becoming an accredited agency through the Center for Public Safety Excellence and Commission on Fire Accreditation, create and train additional fire investigators to support the fire marshal, assist the Milwaukee County Sheriff in creation of a county-wide tactical EMS team, transfer all of the fire prevention activities to new software, and develop a joint hiring process with neighboring fire departments to create a shared list of applicants and reduce the human resource burden. The 2015 budget request for the Wautosa Fire Department is $12,829,264 for the 2015 budget. This request is supported by tables 1 through 2 and figures 1 through 4 that were provided to the council members, and the additional related data points that are available for the fire department in the budget request handouts. The fire department revenue sources come from 3 primary areas. These are the general fund, which comprise 77% of the budget, the intergovernmental charges, which is 11% of the budget, and then fees for services such as ambulance services at 12% of the budget. Considering that the ambulance services will be delivered in a manner different than they currently have been, there is potential for some revenue growth in this area with the accelerated ambulance services, emergency medical services, and through the additional possibility for higher reimbursement levels with these higher level services. When looking at revenue sources, we can see here that for 2015, it's projected that the own source revenues will be 13.1 million, and the department will be heavily reliant on the general fund to contribute just about 10 million to make up the remainder of the fire department budget. In 2016, we see that this trend continues. At that own source revenues will remain very consistent, almost flatlined at 3.1 million, and then requiring an additional 10.1 million from the general fund, and then that is again the situation in 2017 as well. This is due in large part, as you well know, that the revenue collection has become a challenge in the state of Wisconsin due to the Act 32 that limits the yearly property tax levies that can be imposed by cities and counties. The city is well aware of this tax restriction, and it has been working hard across the city with all department heads and administrators to limit expenses due to the restricted revenue growth. And efforts have been made, if at all possible, to maintain city services at the level that the residents have come to expect. And in particular, with the fire department, the level of services continue to be provided in an efficient manner that allows the emergency services to continue to be provided at a high level. So in this slide, we are looking at the proposed fire department revenues for 2015. Very little appears to be able to be done to grow revenues within the limits of the 2011 Wisconsin Act 23, which is really causing a problem with revenue expansion. However, as I mentioned before, with the new fee system and the new approach to the ambulance provider services in the city and possibly in the county, there is a potential for growth in these two areas. They may help to increase the overall revenue for the fire department. But we can see in this slide that the fees or the ambulance services only make up about 9% of the fire department revenues. So at best, we could hope that it would grow by possibly 2 or 3%, but still wouldn't really be a large contributor to the overall revenues of the department. When we look at the expenditures, we note that the compensation makes up 50% of the total expenditures, and the fringe benefits account for an additional 36% of the total department expenditures. Interdepartmental charges are also a higher expense in the 2015 budget, and this was due to the new computer software that the department purchased to continue to be able to provide their services at a high level. But this is only a 1% expenditure when looking at the full budget, so it wasn't a significant consideration or anything that needed to be revisited. The 2016 and 2017 budgets were projected out at a 0.24% growth rate to ensure that additional technology expenses could be covered in this area due to the new system. However, even with the new system and an unknown need for support and possibly additional infrastructure, there's very limited revenues, and so we were not able to budget for additional expenditures either. So the expenditure challenges when we're looking at budgeting is that the budget for the fire department continues to rise, and last year the expenditures rose 8% for a total increase of $986,000. These expenditures were necessary and within acceptable limits, but we are well aware that the increased expenditures have a large impact on the larger city budget, as the city or the fire department consists of a quarter of the city's budget, and so we are well aware that we won't be able to continue to have expenditures rise at this rate without affecting the city's budget as a whole. So we are working to find a responsible method to manage the fire department in the fiscal health and within the department, so that we can contribute to the city's balanced budget effort. The current tax limitations that we have to remain cognizant of and challenges for our department include a heavy reliance on property taxes, and again the state mandated tax levy limit, which I've talked about, and the relatively flat property growth within the city and flat property valuations. The fire department expenditures will continue to be highly limited due to these challenges and issues, and also as well because of the 2011 Wisconsin Act 32, which placed a kind of a lid on revenue generation, and so with the department being heavily reliant on the general fund for contributions. For 2016 and 2017, the projections for the department would be a 1.28% growth rate, and a limited or almost no dollar change in expenditures between 2015 to 2017.